Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to another edition of Talking About Wrestling, right here on the Black Fitness Network. I am your host, the Untouchable J.R. Atkins, and this is your primary destination for wrestling conversation. Well, we are well into 2026, ladies and gentlemen, and here we are with another edition of your favorite podcast. And if it's not, it's soon to be the one and only Talking About Wrestling. Toiling around with the intro a little bit, right? Thanks for tuning in on this Saturday. Again, I am your host, the Untouchable J.R. Atkins. First of all, before we get into anything, I want to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to the Black Fitness Network and all our content. Thank you for tuning in on Spotify, YouTube, or Substack, wherever it is that you choose to tune in to the Talking About Wrestling podcast. Again, make sure, if we get this out of the way now, make sure you like, share, subscribe, leave a rating, comment, engage. Make sure that you follow us here on Substack. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. Well, you can't follow me on Instagram, but I don't do that. I actually don't even leave my actual socials on here, just the Black Phoenix Network stuff. But that's neither here nor there. Make sure you follow Spotify, what I was going with. Substack, YouTube, Spotify. Make sure you follow us on all of those. Again, we have set a goal this year. We are trying to take the Substack 50 subscribers by the end of the year, at least. YouTube 125 by the end of the year. So if I can start getting up in like those thousands, I know that's a lot of reach, but who knows, right? So, thank you again for tuning in, and we're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to be your primary destination for wrestling conversation, and hopefully we will be growing. Not even hopefully, we will be growing this brand, this content throughout the year. There will be plenty more. We're going to change some locations here and there. We're going to be on the road a little bit. We're going to interview some people. We're going to have some co-hosts. We're going to do some interesting things. Now that we got our feet under us, we're 21 episodes in at this point. So this is now episode 22. So 20 episodes in, 21 episodes in, you know what I'm saying? We got our feet up under us. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep growing. We're going to keep talking about wrestling. Now, with that out of the way, the next order of business, this is the reason I know you're here. I know why you're here. I've been reading the non-existent comments. And I know what everybody's favorite part of the show is. It's time for the shirt of the week. Here we go. Now, that may not give it away what that is, so let me make sure I turn around. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This week I am representing the one and only Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. This is, a lot of his shirts when he came back, he doesn't have like a big history of like, he doesn't have like an iconic shirt. The DX shirt, maybe, or the DX shirts, the original. And actually, not even the first one, really. He wore it, but it didn't get popular until he left, actually, or the most popular after he left. And the green spray paint one that they wore on the second run, that was pretty iconic. There are probably more iconic DX shirts than there are just straight up Shawn Michaels shirts, off the top of my head. But I could be wrong. Maybe I can look that up. Real quick. But in the meantime, again, we're here to talk about wrestling. Like I said, of course, Shawn Michaels is I would say probably my GOAT. If we're going to say that type of thing. I was just say this real quick. I've been seeing some really crazy takes over the last week or so about a bunch of different stuff. You people are weird. Some of you people are weird. Not all of you, but some of you are weird. Some of you. Those pants are still on now on sale for $32. Okay, crazy. I can say I can get those. Somehow we went from like looking for iconic Shawn Michaels shirts to now I'm shopping on shop.com. Make that make sense, which I actually don't even really fool with, but they got some nice Shawn Michaels stuff here that I'm kind of like, yo, I don't act with it. All right. WrestleMania 20 graphic shirt? Is that what he had? I guess so. That's definitely WrestleMania 10. And even though it doesn't, it does go exactly. Well, again, you're watching me shop. I should be like sharing the screen so you can see what I'm looking at. So I'm not just like talking. But as I say that, I don't see any iconic like particular. There's like one that's kind of, but like not really. Anywho, that was a quick aside. Sean's my go. I got this and maybe another one. Maybe I think I have one more Shawn Michael shirt. But when he came back, none of the shirts were like iconic, and he was trying to like fit into that. I don't know. He just never had, like I said, the iconic shirt until he wore like the DX stuff. There are a couple of them that I remember more than the others, but so this one I think I got at a show. I'm sure. I don't think I ordered it. Pull it out every now and then. Got to represent for the HBK. So this week, I'll be honest. I don't know what we're gonna talk about with some results, and I guess some of the fallout from some of these results. And it's not just gonna be AEW because there's been a lot of stuff since we last spoke. There was Wrestle Kingdom, New Year's Dash. Of course, I'm not the biggest New Japan watcher. I kind of try to just keep up a little bit to kind of know, especially as it pertains to how it connects to AEW or even WWE or anywhere else. But so I do have the Wrestle Kingdom results. I won't say that nothing significant happened because again, I don't watch, so I don't know what's significant and what isn't. I do know in terms of AEW that Takeshita did lose his IWGP Championship to Tsuji, and he has brought back the classic IWGP Championship that everybody screamed to the heavens that they needed to bring back. The new one was kind of growing on me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but I do understand exactly why people wanted that old title back. Apparently, New Japan falling into some AEW type booking here because Tsuji, who was the global champion, and is now the heavyweight champion, they're not merging the titles. He's going to defend them separately. So I guess that's a thing. And I guess, okay, cool. Again, I don't really know what's going on with New Japan because like New Year's Dash was that next night and he was like all over that show. Like, he was in a tag match and there's a lot going on there. Then we had Raw, we had NXT New Year's Evil, we had AEW Dynamite, and last night we had SmackDown. All of these shows, everybody pretty much trying to kick off 2026 with a bang. And a lot of people delivered. Not even gonna lie, not even gonna hold you. A lot of people did deliver on that. So we're going to cover some things. We're going to kind of skim through it. Instead of doing like a full result, because there's so many results, rather than do like a full thing, I'm going to do we're just going to kind of skim through, pick out the things that are kind of noteworthy and talk about them like that. Because like I said, I didn't have a format this time. And it's a newsworthy and yet not newsworthy week. So we're just going to kind of cover things as I see them and that they tickle my palate. So let's start. I gave you kind of my notes on like Wrestle Kingdom. So we're gonna really start with Raw because I didn't really watch all of it. I so happened to be at home, and because it was the first one of the year, and there kind of was some big things that people were hoping would happen. There was a lot of eyes on this particular Raw. Not see it. They had like the Stranger Things tie-in. It's of course the 1 year anniversary of them being on Netflix. So kind of expecting like, oh, okay, what's it gonna be? The Stranger Things integration was interesting. I don't know what people were expecting. A lot of people online have kind of been panning it. There were some interesting aspects of it, but also I don't watch Stranger Things, so like I think there are people who kind of maybe expected more. For me, it's like I don't really watch it, so I didn't have any expectations. So it was just kind of a different overlay to the to a normal Raw, basically, is what it was. For me, at least. So I actually don't even know what happened prior to me watching, but I, guess I did. And there are a lot of new champions kind of permeating. Of course, last week we had, over the last couple of weeks, we had John Moxley winning the Continental title, Willow winning the TBS title finally, and from Mercedes. Um, MJF winning the AEW World Championship. That happened as well. So that continued here on WWE. We opened up Raw with the Kabuki Warriors versus Rhea and Io. Rhea and Io have won and became the new tag team championships and champions. And hopefully that means that there will be some type of, it fits that they're a team. I guess it would be Rio, who is the name of the team. It fits that they're a team because they've been so intertwined with each other at this point for years, really, throughout their careers. Actually, if we really want to go all the way in with it. So it's not like a put together team like a lot of these tag team champions are. However, uh, those women's tag team titles have been snake bitten since inception. It does feel like they have a little bit of traction kind of going now, but it's still it just feels weird. Like it lost some traction in the beginning to where now it feels weird. And I think honestly that's AEW's I'm sorry, WWE tag team division. Again, for somebody who doesn't watch weekly anymore or even really regularly, but does kind of keep up, it does you know, take my opinion with a grain of salt. But it does feel like their entire tag team division, both men's and women's, are kind of just kind of, you know. I mean, we got the Usos as tag team champions again, and I guess that's great. But also, what does that say for Jey Uso? So go figure. But Rio and Io are new tag team champions. Big moves, big moves. Uh, we have Gunther and AJ had a little segment. Gunther and AJ Styles. AJ isn't done yet, so this isn't going to be what it could be. Because of course, a lot of people, especially me, I'm high on this. AJ should be, Gunther should be ending your favorites' careers. Goldberg, Cena. Here's the thing, it could be AJ, but I don't think it should be AJ. It should be the big ones. So like, you got Goldberg, you got Cena. AJ should have something completely different happening. I would give him Lesnar and Orton as well to end their quote unquote end their careers as well. I think you lock those four, and he doesn't have to do any more after that. Then he can just coast off of that. That should be his 2020. His 2026 should be ending Brock, and whenever Randy decides to hang it up, it should be that as well. He should be well established by then at that point, and then it should be, it shouldn't be the, the quote unquote the legend or the legend, whatever you want to call it. I think the Randy Gunther match for Randy's career absolutely has to happen. The way they've already set up Gunther absolutely has to happen. But that's a rant for another day. But if we're doing a Gunther AJ match now, I don't think it's going to be like a career type thing. So that should be fine. We had the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Maxine Dupree, who beat Becky a couple of months ago, or a month or so ago, versus Becky Lynch. Becky wins, regains the Intercontinental Championship. Again, we are all in on these new champions. And I'm noticing something, but I'm gonna wait till I get to the end before I say it. It's apparently during the break, Adam Pearce introduces Javon Evans and he signed his Raw contract during the commercial break. There's been a lot made about that, about what that means. I don't really think it means anything in terms of like what they think of Javon Evans and what his career is going to be like. However, that is not how you. Um, I guess they were going with like because he's younger and the younger generation is always on social media. So the way to get to the new younger generation is to do things through social media. I assume that is the logic because he's like this, But that's stupid. Don't do that. No, yeah, whatever. Because it doesn't seem like it's a big deal. But I maybe again maybe they're looking at another different algorithm kind of thing. I don't know. There also was a promo video for Obafemi, who apparently is also going to Raw, which means they're it's funny because NXT call ups really used to be like a post WrestleMania thing. Who's going to be the call? Who we getting called up from WrestleMania? So this year they went with like, no, we're going to kick off the year with the call ups. So like on SmackDown we got uh Jordan Grace making her debut on SmackDown. Trick Williams making his debut on SmackDown. They re-signed Matt Cardona. And tonight, well, on Raw, Monday night, then we got official confirmation that Obafemi's coming to Raw and Javon Evans signed a Raw contract as well. I saw that and I thought, so what does that mean for the NXT Championship? And we're going to get to that. So moving forward, Usos came out, did the yeet in the crowd a whole lot, cut a quick little promo, just saying that we the best, we the tag team. You want it, come get it. Usos tag team champions feels right, but it is just that weird thing of like, but after everything we did with Jay, kind of where did that leave us? So I don't know. Stephanie McCurry is injured, but she came out and cut a promo. Raquel Rodriguez came out to attack her, took her to the back, attacked her again. So apparently we're definitely going hard on the Raquel versus Stephanie McCurry feud. She's in. Apparently she's legitimately injured, but like clear for contact. So I don't know what that. I don't know what that means or what that really looks like. So go figure. What else we got? We had Liv Morgan versus Lyra Valkyria match. Liv Morgan wins. And for the World Heavyweight Championship, we had CM Punk versus Braun Breaker. CM Punk wins. So I'm not even going to talk about none of that. The match was on. It's Punk. You know how I feel about Punk. Should he? People apparently saying that Braun probably should have won because they built it so high. And I'm like, no, you could have done it, but no, there's no reason to do that for real. Not right now. Plus, you just had two other. The fact that those two other titles changed hands earlier in the night should let you know that that CM Punk's going to win. That's usually how things go. When you have almost strictly title matches on your card and you change like two or one or something like that, usually the main or you got to balance it out. Everything's not going to change hands. So the two title matches, something changed hands. There probably was a good chance that it wasn't going to happen here. The thing I was noticing when I was looking at this earlier was like I couldn't remember if there was another match or not. Raw was like 2.5 hours, maybe even went 3 this time. There were 4 matches. And I guess they were lengthy matches, I guess. And I guess. Except for Liv Morgan Lyra. But everything else kind of felt like a lengthy match. Like I said, I didn't watch all of it. But I think I tuned in right at the end of like right at the end of Maxine and Becky Lynch. So there are 4 matches on this card. Like I said, I guess they were lengthy and they were all title matches, so it wasn't like any kind of like quote unquote bullshit. That's a lot of show for 4 matches. And it just highlights, I'm not even gonna say it's better or different, better or not, better or worse, I mean. Just highlights the difference between this and an AEW show. Because in 2 hours, it's so hilarious that people make all the fuss about like AEW pay-per-views being too long. And I understand that sentiment completely, and I get what it does to the crowd. I get what because it does it to people watching that. It does it to people watching from home as well. Half the reason why when I'm at home I keep falling asleep on certain matches also because I'm old. Last couple of times I have not. At least I did not for Wrestle Dream. Not Wrestle Dream. I did not for World's End, and I don't think I did for Full Gear. So no. I definitely fell asleep on Full Gear. I think I definitely fell asleep on Full Gear. Feels like I did, maybe not. I think I had to go back and watch something, but maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I made that up. Anywho, so that's always a common criticism, but on Dynamite, you get in 2 hours of packed. Like they still do promos and stuff, but it's like usually packed with action. If you get 4 matches on a Dynamite, those matches are given plenty of time at that point. Because you usually get at least 5 or 6 out of a Dynamite, even in those 2 hours. So that's interesting, but whatever. It's WWE. And I'm actually gonna come back. We're gonna count 4 matches on this 2.5 or 3 hour show of Raw. We're gonna count when we get to Dynamite. I'm gonna go over New Year NXT because they had New Year's Evil, and some of that plays into what we saw on Raw Monday night. I didn't watch NXT New Year's Evil, so I'm seeing some of this for the first time too. But I do know some of the stuff that happened. So there's that. So just take again, grain of salt. Okay, this is okay. This is an interesting twist of things. So apparently there was supposed to be because and I see again. I didn't watch, so I didn't know this happened. I don't even really keep up with NXT because again I don't have cable to watch. Okay, or whatever. So apparently there was supposed to be a match between Thea Hale and Blake Monroe. Of course, there was that botch where Thea accidentally won the women's North American title, which wasn't supposed to, and they've been trying to book themselves kind of out of that corner. So this was supposed to be the rematch, and I would assume, like probably most people did, that the plan was going to be to put the title back on Blake and get back to the regular scheduled program. Maybe not. Apparently, before this happened, Blake Monroe attacked Thea Hale during her entrance, and later on, Ava banned her from the building and called off the match. Okay, all right, interesting. Ricky Saints comes out, cut a promo, talking about Javon and Trick running away from NXT. And he's going to get the title back. Okay, cool. Main event for the night is supposed to be Oba Femi versus Leon Slater from TNA. All right, cool. Sidebar. It gets said a lot, but shout out to NXT for being the land of black opportunity. I'm sorry. Shawn Michaels clearly likes the black people because the majority of your main event scene here lately has been the brothers. Like it slick kind of went brother to brother to brother to brother. Like I'm gonna run it. It was like Carmelo, then it was Ilya, then it was Trick. Then Ethan Page won it for a minute. I think Trick won it back. Then it was Oba. Then it was Ricky. Then it was Oba again. So like the last 4 of the only I guess Ethan Page in there too, and it was brief. But like the majority of your champions here in the last year or so have been brothers. Very interesting. So it's fun. Last couple of years really, because Carmelo was 23. No, 24. No, 23. Yeah, it's crazy. Anywho, Tatum Paxley defeated Easy Dane. Okay. Young Grace taking on Thea Hale until Ava the Hell. Yeah. Okay. Jacy Jane defeated Kendall Gray. I want to say that was like Kendall Gray is the one who won the Iron Survivor. They kind of guess trying to push her. There was no chance of her winning anyway, but all right. Ethan introduced Vanity Project. Okay. I don't know what that is. We're scanning through. We're just scanning through. So Thea holds an open challenge for the NXT Women's North American Championship, and Izzy Dane answers and wins the North American title off of Thea Hale. So I'm not really sure what all is happening here. NXT, I think that threw a lot of things into a tailspin. That Thea Hale, Blake Monroe thing probably threw a lot of stuff into a tailspin. Go figure. All these promos, Joe Andrew talking to Ava about Dark State, Ethan Page, Joshua Troy. Okay, yeah, it's a bunch of stuff. Get to the graps. Okay, cool. There's a lot of promos like in between there, and this is a 2 hour show too. And they got 1, 2, 3, 4 matches here too. Is 4 matches the sweet spot for a 2 hour show of wrestling or a 3 hour show of wrestling? Is that what it's supposed to be? Because it's only 4 matches here, and between this open challenge and the main event, it literally looks like promo segment, promo segment, promo segment, promo segment, promo segment, promo segment, and then the main event. And then even after the main event, another promo segment. Sheesh. Okay. Anyway, because I wonder how long that. I won't find it. I wonder how long that actually went. I think it's strange to me, and again, I'm not trying to bash WWE at all. It's strange to me. Look, I love a good promo just as much as anybody. I love that aspect of wrestling just as much as anybody. It's strange to me to have more promos segments than you do the actual wrestling segments, even if the matches are going a decent amount of time. It's just strange to me. But whatever. NXT Championship match, of course, Oba Femi retained the title over Leon Slater. And the thing that everybody's talking about, and I mentioned earlier, I wonder what it was going to mean for the NXT title, that Oba Femi is being advertised for showing up on Raw, is after the win over TNA's Leon Slater, Oba Femi vacated the NXT Championship. There were some people who didn't like it, and there's some people who did. I guess I understand it. I think it's kind of a interesting way to do it. They apparently the reasoning is they wanted him to remain dominant, and basically in his dominance, he's leaving to conquer a new territory, a new field, or whatever you want to call it, a new world as far as Raw SmackDown goes. That's cool. You know, I get it. I get why they would do that rather than have him take a loss. Though there are ways to do it where he didn't. Just do it. You know, you could have did it 3. You can do it. You got Ricky. You could have put it with anybody else, and then Ricky could have won. I'm assuming Rick, because now here's the thing about NXT. Well, so let me get to the next thing. So after that, apparently, Abel's then Sean talking to some Evolve talent, how there'd be plenty of room for some call ups to NXT. You're losing people, so now you bring people up from Evolve. They have a nice little system now. But they're like, I guess there's LFG, and then there's like Evolve. I feel like there's something else in there in the middle. And then NXT. So there's like a nice little feeder. There's a feeder system to NXT now, which NXT was the feeder system to to main roster. So now there's a feeder system to NXT, which is Evolve. And apparently there's a feeder system to Evolve, which is LFG. Go figure. And is WWEID, is that the feeder to LFG? So like they got a whole nice little thing there. Anywho, she was interrupted by Robert Stone, who brought to her attention to what Obafemi just did, which is vacating the championship. Fee switched over to the NXT Championship by itself, seemingly left behind by Femi. Overlooking the title in the background was Tony D'Angelo to end the show. It makes sense that we will probably be moving to Tony D'Angelo as world champion. Apparently, they've done a bit of a character change for him. I hadn't really been watching, but I see they're not doing so much of the family stuff anymore. So there's that. Looks like his focus is, and if I can see that being a thing. If he's, I don't think he's solidified himself as babyface or heel necessarily. But losing these three, you lost Trick, which should have been happening, truth be told, so that's not a big deal. But losing Trick, Oba, who it probably was time for, and Javon. Now, Javon is the one that's interesting because they've done a lot to kind of showcase him on main roster. So it seemed like they were heading that way. But it's also kind of like, but you didn't really do enough with him in NXT. Like you got him close enough, but never like there. But that's fine because look at Becky Lynch, right? Becky is the only one of the horsewomen to not win the NXT championship before coming to the main roster. Charlotte won it, Sasha beat her, Bayley beat her, Becky never won it, but has gone on to become probably just as, if not bigger, if not the biggest of the horsewomen, close to it, because they're all big in their own right. The only one I think Bayley's the most underrated of the four, but like Becky's probably the biggest actual like star. Because Charlotte doesn't have a cover to a WWE game, and Becky does. So there's a lot of those opportunities that Becky has that Charlotte doesn't. But vice versa. I think Becky has become the bigger star of the two outside of the WWE sphere in a wrestling capacity. Well, I don't know. Because then you got to take Sasha slash Mercedes into consideration, and that's a whole different thing. So there's that. But saying all that to say, so if you're losing those three and then you're losing Jordynne Grace right off the back of that, there is a bit of a vacuum. So Ricky's still there, but he's a heel now. I would assume that the title goes back to him and he has a heel title run. I can see that, I guess, being the case. Looks like we're putting Tony D'Angelo in that run as well, in that chase as well for the title. I'm curious to see how they're going to handle crowning a new champion and when, because I'm sure they probably would do it soon. Probably whatever their next PLE is. So I don't think they'll wait till like a standard deliver. That's in like April or April or March or April or something. Whenever Mania is, probably Mania weekend. So it's probably gonna be in April. Highly doubt they'll keep the title vacant that long, but so I don't know. Because again, I'm not gonna say you don't have the talent to fill, like a tournament or something, but this is definitely about to be a place of you're either about. Ricky's kind of solidified is in that range. It looks like you're putting Tony D'Angelo there, and then who else from there? I can see maybe an Ethan Page, perhaps. Joe Hendry. Yeah, I guess that's the case with Joe Hendry. He could do it. Yeah, yeah. Also, apparently NXT did a very similar thing to Raw the night before, but a little different. So Raw the night before was 3 women's matches. Those 3 matches that they had prior to Punk versus Braun were all women's matches. There was the women's tag match for the titles, the Intercontinental title match, and Liv and Lyra, and then CM Punk, Braun Breaker. NXT was a very similar thing. Tatum Paxley defeated Izzy Dane. But also interesting because that means she lost and then went back to win the title in the same night. Very interesting thing that happened there. And all of these matches were toxic. Is it toxic attraction? Fatal attraction. Is it the name? Fatal influence. Sorry. Fatal, toxic, attraction, influence. Who knows? It's all the same shit. So Tatum beats Izzy. JC beats Kendall Gray. Then Izzy beats Thea. So we have those three matches, and then we have the main event of Oba versus Leon Slater. Interesting things to do with those shows. Very interesting. So I don't know. I am interested to see what they decide to do with the NXT World Championship. Because anytime you get a situation like this, and because I'm curious, of like I say, it feels like there's definitely a vacuum because I don't know because I don't keep up with who are they seeming to position as in that space. With NXT, you typically kind of know or can kind of tell who's probably up next or who's probably going to fall into certain spaces. There were a couple of shockers here and there, but that's usually a thing. Moving on to Dynamite. This is how much wrestling there is in a week. I have covered Monday. Actually, I guess you could say Sunday with New Japan. Monday with Raw. Tuesday NXT. Wednesday Dynamite. And I'm going to go to SmackDown, which was Friday night as well. So just show you how much wrestling there is on TV. So we got JR on Dynamite, and there's a lot going on with Dynamite with Jim Ross lately. I'm not gonna talk about it because it's a lot, and it's stuff I don't even care to get into. But yeah. So we started out with Jon Moxley versus Shelton Benjamin, which was a really good match. Finish may have been. I don't think the finish was as bad as some people are saying. Some people didn't like it. Finish is basically it's going down to the wire with like down maybe 10 seconds left. Shelton Benjamin gets Moxley in a triangle choke. Mox just basically rolls him over, pins him 1, 2, 3, survives. Kind of was hoping that one would kind of go the draw, but it may, and yeah, kinda, you get it. So go figure. But it was a really good match, as you would think it would be. They opened up with like Jet Speed was supposed to team with Jack Perry to face the Demand, but Jet Speed got injured, got attacked by apparently the Don Callis family, Mark Davis, and the new Jake Doyle. Who I was like, who the fuck is Jake Doyle? Apparently that's Jake something from TNA. Because I was watching on my phone and it was small, and I was like, he looks like Mark Davis, but it's not Mark Davis. He said Jake something. That's Jake Doyle. Who is Jake Doyle? So apparently that's Jake something from TNA. And look, if they're gonna do a Jake Doyle, Mark Davis tag team out of the day, hey, because they don't really have a tag team like they've done Takeshita and Okada. That's kind of like the main event tag. They've done different variations of teams, but like I think that would be a solid, just straight up team. They had Brian Cage, he got hurt because Murder Hawk Monsters I think was a good team, but Brian Cage hurt. The Don Callis family, the spoil of riches that they have, like every time somebody goes down, they replace it with somebody just as crazy. So Jay Perry needs partners. Jet Speed's out. Jay Perry needs partners. Who do we see for the first time in at least 2 years? At least. I'm matter of fact, I'm definitely going to say at least early 2024. Definitely. You hear Super Kick Party! That is right. The Young Bucks, the original Young Bucks, are back. The Tassels are back. Hell of a way to kick off your 2026 with the OG Young Bucks back in the game. Perry and the Bucks win, of course. Um, After the match, Jake Doyle, Mark Davis, the Don Callis family come out. They come out, take out the Bucks. Jet Speed comes out, try to uh, even the score. Lights go out, and when they come back on, guess who's back as well? Andrade El Idolo is back and officially now in AEW and the Don Callis family. Again, riches on riches on riches, man. And now you got so. Here's the thing now about the Don Callis family. It's so much riches that it's set to explode eventually because you got Okada, you got Takeshita, you got Kyle Fletcher, then you got Andrade, you got oh why did it just escape me? Because I want to say Jake Alexander, but that's not his name. Josh Alexander. You got Josh Alexander now. You got Jake something. You got too many. You're too front load. You're too front heavy because all these egos can't coexist. You already see what's happening with Takeshita and Okada. Kyle Fletcher's gonna have something to say about the Okada thing because essentially Okada messed up the screwdriver play during the match with Moxley at World's End in the C2. So Kyle Fletcher's gonna feel away when he comes back. Then you got Andrade in the mix now. He's not gonna be a background, like he wants to be, the man. I'm sure he's not gonna be a background player. Josh Alexander actually is like low key the I won't say the leader, but like he takes a kind of interesting space, like almost the enforcer of it. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. Like there's a lot, all these elements that seem like it's making it bloated, I think actually make for a very interesting implosion eventually. Like it works, it works as long as it's supposed to work, but when it doesn't work anymore, it's going to be very interesting. People compare this to like the NWO size wise. I get that, but I think because I don't think we're just throwing people in the Don Callis family to throw them in there. I think there's an end game that makes sense. And maybe they don't even know what it is, but I think it has all the potential to make an end game that makes sense. But wouldn't you know it, my microphone went. I didn't charge it. It's not the mic's charged. The adapter isn't charged. Screwed it up. But it's okay. All right. We're gonna do it like this. And I was almost done anyway. I guess I'll finish these Dynamite because I ain't got very far in the video. I did the rest of Dynamite. I was well into SmackDown, and then I was like, hey, I don't think my mic's working. So here we are. So I'll finish these Dynamite results. I won't do SmackDown. I'll get to the main thing of SmackDown, and then we'll just close the whole thing out. All right. Short and sweet. Bing bang boom. Bing bang bang boom. Right. I stopped at some Don Callis stuff, which I was early in the show. So I went through all of Dynamite, and that was like the second match. Maybe even the second match of the night. All right. So I went through the Willow stat thing with Andrade, and that was fun. And they had a whole little thing. Mark Briscoe cut a promo. Triangle of Madness cut a promo. Bandito versus Sammy Guevara. MJF came out, talked this shit to Bandito. Bandito kicked their ass. We had Tony Storm versus Marina Shafir. Ended in DQ because the Death Rider actually got Marina DQ, which makes sense because they weren't going to have Marina take an L. And Tony could have took it. It would have been fine. But there was a whole bunch of brouhaha after that. Orange Cassidy ends up with both the ladies, Mina and Tony. So that could be a little, like I said, I made the joke. Orange got juice, okay? We got Pac basically assaulting, Darby assaulting Pac, forcing him to give him a match.
So we're going to have that, which Darby will win because it's a psychopath. We had the lights out match. I mentioned there were lighting issues all night. The lights went out during Willow's thing. But if you didn't know any better, it looked like it made sense. It looked like it was a mood light, right? It was supposed to be that way. Here, with this being a lights out match, the lights blinked, they came back on. But when the match started, the lights went back out. But it made sense. This is a lights out match. Hangman and Swerve won, of course. There was this was brutal without being like super violent. There was like a pallet of cinder blocks. Where they did a Deadeye stomp combination on the pallet of cinder blocks onto Hot Ops, and he did not move for the rest of the match. I was like, you should absolutely be dead for the rest of this match. The finish came by hanging Hook with the chain, so of course because Hobbs was dead, so of course they hung Hook with the chain, and that was that. So that was Dynamite. I just blew through that for the rest of it because, go figure. SmackDown, I was going through all of that. There was stuff there. Nothing that I said was... I went through a whole thing about the Women's Championship and the women's matches for Mania and the Royal Rumble and all of that. Point blank, I don't know what the matches for Mania are going to be. Right now, it looks like Jade is your women's champion. Stephanie McCurry is your world champion. Becky's your Intercontinental champion. Julia is your United States champion. If I had to pick my bet, I don't think Julia will have a Mania match. Stephanie McCurry will. Becky will probably take on AJ Lee. Jade will probably take on whoever wins the Rumble, which might be Bianca. That's my pick right now. But who knows? I don't really have faith in WWE doing anything, so who knows? I don't know. We'll see. It's in Vegas again, so maybe they want to do that before they do Saudi next year. But the Mania is in Saudi, so go figure. MFT versus the Y6. MFT's win. Jordan Grace beats Al Fire. Carmelo beats Shinsuke Nakamura. Where I was before we completely crashed out was there's going to be a fatal 4-way match, and there are 4 qualifying matches to get into the fatal 4-way, and the winner of that will take on the WWE champion at the Rumble, who also probably will not win. So the people announced for that are Miz and Randy Orton, who had an altercation earlier in the night. Matt Cardona and Trick Williams. Trick had an altercation with Randy Orton earlier in the night. Matt Cardona had a conversation with Cody Rhodes. So put both of them in the mix. Damian Priest and Solo Sikoa. Damian Priest had an altercation with Drew McIntyre earlier in the night. And Sami Zayn and Ilya, which they don't, but okay. Winner out of that will face the WWE champion, who after last night's 3 stages of hell, is Drew McIntyre. Yes, that's right. Drew McIntyre has defeated Cody Rhodes for the WWE championship. And then Jacob Fatu is back as well. So that's interesting. Not sure how any of that's going to play out. And I don't know if that puts Cody in the main, and this makes sense. Because even though Cody's like the guy, he's been in 3 main events. He probably will not be in the main event this year. But also, I don't know who it would be. Because there's no point. There's no real... Do we need to see Cody win the title again? Or even lose again in the main event? We can get that to somebody else. It's cool. We because he's still the guy. The top babyface in the company. But you can put somebody else in that spot. Especially if Drew's going to be champion. You can do somebody else. So this is an opportunity. It's Vegas. We'll see. But out of those 8, if Drew is the champion going into the Rumble, The person that I could see, unless they want to hold it off for Mania, is actually Randy Orton. Because he's going to be a babyface. And your 4 babyfaces are Orton, Cardona, Damian Priest, really Sammy or Ilya. Because they're both pretty much babyfaces. So you got 5 babyfaces. And I think Randy Orton probably makes the most sense. Though you could go with Sammy, because it's Saudi. That's interesting. I'm not sure. But that was SmackDown. That's your week in wrestling. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down because again I don't have because the sound. I apologize for the sound. I should have charged this thing up. I'm gonna work on that. But you're here. We're growing. All right. That being said, thank you for tuning in to the Black Phoenix Network and talking about wrestling. Again, make sure that you like, share, subscribe. Make sure that you leave a comment. Follow us on Substack, YouTube, Spotify. Leave a comment, leave a rating. Engage, especially the comments. Because eventually I'm going to start fussing at y'all for not leaving comments. Because I want to talk to y'all. I want to talk to everybody who is taking the time to watch this podcast, who is taking the time to subscribe, taking the time to anything. If you're here watching the Black Phoenix Network grow, you're here watching the Talk About Wrestling podcast, I want you to leave me a comment. At this point, I'm begging. I'm begging before I start fussing. All right? Comments. Leave a comment here, YouTube, here on Substack. Leave it on YouTube. Leave a review on Spotify. I want to see it all. I want to hear it all. I want to talk to my people. So tell me what you thought about this week in wrestling. If there's anything that I said that you have a thought about or a feeling about, leave a comment. It's going to go a long way. The engagement is the key. So again, I need you to engage with the podcast beyond just watching it. And I get it. Sometimes you just put it on and you're listening and you don't have nothing to say. But it's free to mess me. And I'm going to read them. And I'll respond to them next week or whenever. So feel free to, not even just feel free, I am imploring you, begging even, leave a comment below. Here on Spotify, here on Substack or on YouTube. Leave a review on Spotify. I want to hear from you. With all that being said, once again, I am your host, the Untouchable J.R. Atkins. This is your primary destination for wrestling conversation. This is Talking About Wrestling. And until next time, next week, we are out.